Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I want to take a little bit of time today and talk to you on the subject matter, and I want to direct this message to the news media. I want to direct this message also to the community, to the government, and to the church. When we talk about peace, prosperity, and joy for every citizen, well, we never really talk about it. But if and when it is talked about, it's not discussed on the media. The subject matter of bringing peace between the races, getting rid of racism, the subject matter of prosperity between all people, not just races, but individuals, joy to the population. These things are not discussed, and yet they are the most precious of all life's existence. And I wonder why these things aren't discussed. Do you wonder why they are not discussed? And now that I'm mentioning it to you, will you perhaps give it some consideration? These are excuses that have been given, yet they are the founding ingredient for things such as that which happened in Ferguson, Missouri. In Ferguson, Missouri, you know the story. Young man, Michael Brown, supposedly shot down by a white cop. Michael is black, unarmed, supposedly his hands in the air. And as it always happens when an officer kills a person of color or a minority, they seem to always get off. And so this had reached the boiling point in Ferguson, Missouri, and people rebelled. And all of a sudden, it's taking months for a grand jury to determine if the officer is guilty or should be brought in probable cause and tried. And after 4 months, you would think everybody knew that he was getting off. It seems as to me this was just a time for them to cover all their bases and make sure that whatever comes at them, they are covered. But no way would this man be held accountable for doing what he was hired to do. And so when the decision is reached and people come back and say, well, this is injustice. Well, this is the way, the American way. This is the way it has always been. This is not new. And today you get people all across the country saying they want to do this and they want to riot and meet and discuss. This gives the leaders a chance to stand up and say that they played some part in this incident. But as far as dealing with the causes of this, to eradicate it and eliminate it, no action whatsoever is going to be taken on any level to deal with this. Yet when the rioters, the people who are victims of this injustice, stand up and utilize whatever they can. You know, this is the stuff that terrorism is made out of. When these groups of people determine that there's nothing that they can do but rise up and destroy property and trying to get some justice, and then they are called criminals. They don't see themselves as criminals when the person whom they see as a murderer has just been given freedom by a grand jury. This scares them. And yet, this is what we consider as justice in this country. But I see hypocrisy all around us. I see people talking about, now that it's close to Thanksgiving, getting together and raising food to fill food shelves so that those who have been disenfranchised by the system can have something to eat. Now, this seems so crazy to me. We live in a system that says that there are some that should have the best of everything. Now, every nation have their rules. This is just one that happens for us here in America. But if you study, you will find that it's probably the situation in all nations. There are some that should have the best of everything. There are some who should have not the best, but not the worst. And then there are those who should have the worst. Same thing happened on the plantation. You got the owners who had the best of everything. You had the house employees who had the hand-me-downs and the scraps, but it were good scraps. And then you had those outside employees who had that which nobody wanted. And sometimes they had to end up eating guts of the animals that they killed for the master to eat the bacon, pork chops, and they're eating guts. And when you think about people who eat everything, people who in third world countries who eat everything, dogs and rats and cats and mice, some of us would say we would never touch that. But this is what some people find themselves having to do. And we sleep at night. That's because we have not had an awakening. And this is the result. So you take up food and put it in the shelves so these people can have some food and you can feel good because you think and can say you've done something, while at the same time supporting the system that denies them the freedom of having their own cut every day. You tell me that's not hypocrisy. No wonder they don't want to talk with a guy who has answers to these problems. No wonder they want to keep him here. And so this is economic injustice and social injustice. And you ask yourselves over and over, and over again. Now you've got a government in place that is supporting the types of situations that finds a result such as these. A government that's supporting it. And a mass populace that says it's okay. Now I know you don't. Let me check out something. Smells like smells something burning. Well, I don't see anything.